Welcome to episode 1 of the Fire Starting Set, a series where we explore how fire really behaves, why early warning matters, and what we learned while building a next generation fire black box. Before we talk about technology, we need to understand the problem itself, because fire is not just the flames. It is a chain of reactions that starts silently, grows unpredictable, and often becomes uncontrollable before anyone even realizes what's happening. Section 1. Fire isn't instant, it's a process. Most people imagine fire as something dramatic, a spark, an explosion, a flame that appears out of nowhere. But almost every real fire begins in silence. Before any fire forms, an object enters what fire scientists call the pre-ignition phase. This is where materials slowly start to weaken under heat. A charger trapped under a blanket, a lithium battery left in the sun, or a wire squeezed behind furniture, none of these start with visible danger. During this early stage, materials undergo thermal decomposition, breaking down at the molecular level. This releases tiny amounts of vapor, building internal heat, and gradually reach a condition where ignition becomes possible. Nothing in the room looks unusual. There is no light, no sound, no smoke. But inside the material, its chemistry is already changing. The slow, hidden beginning is the real start of a fire. And it can continue unnoticed for minutes or even hours before anything becomes visible. Section 2. The fire triangle. Why fire behaves the way it does. To understand how small problems turn into fires, we need to understand the fire triangle. Fuel, heat, and oxygen. Each element plays a crucial role. Fuel provides the energy, heat unlocks that energy, and oxygen allows the reaction to continue. When heat rises high enough, materials begin a process called pyrolysis, where solid or liquid fuel breaks into flammable gases. These gases mix with oxygen and ignite, creating a combustion reaction. Once the reaction begins, fire becomes self-sustaining. Heat produces more pyrolysis releases more vapor. More vapor feeds stronger flames. Stronger flames generate even more heat. This feedback loop explains why a small overheating incident can suddenly escalate and why early warning is more effective than trying to control fire once the cycle is fully active. Fire doesn't stay small for long because the chemistry behind it encourages rapid acceleration. Section 3. How a room burns. The 3 stages. A fire inside a room, known as a compartment fire, follows a predictable timeline. First, incipient stage. This is the earliest phase after ignition. A small flame appears, often tiny enough to miss. However, the room begins heating unevenly. Air near the ceiling warms first. Surface begin absorbing heat. Plastics start releasing gases. Smoke forms but may not be visible yet. Second, growth stage. As the flame grows, temperature rises dramatically. Hot gases collect near the ceiling and spread outward. Furniture, decorations, and plastics begin contributing more fuel. Heat levels can jump from warm to dangerous in less than minutes. A room may go from 50 degrees to 200 degrees shockingly fast. This is when smoke becomes thick, visibilities drop, and escape become more difficult. Third, flashover. The the most dangerous transition in all of fire science. When the upper layer of hot gases reaches a critical temperature, usually around 600 degrees, nearly every combustible object in the room ignites simultaneously. This moment is called flashover, and the survival becomes nearly impossible. The time from incipient to flashover can be anywhere from 5 minutes to more than an hour, depending on the materials, ventilation, and layout. But once flashover begins, the entire room burns in seconds. Section 4. Smoke, the most misunderstood danger. Smoke contains a mixture of toxic fire gases produced during smoldering combustion and rapid burning. For example, carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide. This substance can fill a room faster than flames can spread. Even in early stages, before fire becomes large, smoke can make a room deadly to breathe within minutes. It's no coincidence that most fire fatalities occur far from the actual flames. Understanding smoke behavior is one of the core foundations of modern fire science. Section 5. Temperature, the hidden indicator. Temperature is one of the earliest and most reliable warnings that a fire is forming, often long before we see smoke or flames. In real fires, temperatures follow what engineers call a temperature curve. At first, the rise may be slow, but as material releases more fuel gases and the heat release rate increases, the curve begins to climb much faster. Some materials can reach their auto-ignition temperature quietly. Electrical wiring heating behind walls, chargers trapped in a blanket, isolation exposed to heat. In all these cases, temperature changes tell the story of a slow build-up, a sudden spike, or a rapid acceleration. Even though these patterns often before flame appears, they revolve exactly when a fire began and how quietly it developed. Information almost always lost in real life. Section 6. Why data changes everything. When investigators examine a burn site, they often face a major problem. They know how the fire ended, but they have no record of how it began. Without a fire event timeline, experts rely heavily on guesswork. Did the temperature rise slowly or rapidly? Did smoke appear long before flames? Which object overheated first? Was this a sudden failure or a long-term build-up? These answers matter for safety, insurance, product design, and preventing future fires. But without recorded data, even the most experienced investigators must reconstruct the fire behavior using only physical debris, a process called fire dynamic reconstruction, which is notoriously difficult. Early stage data changes this completely. With temperature logs, smoke patterns, and timestamps, fire are no longer mysteries. They become understandable sequence of events. This transforms fire safety from reacting to disasters into preventing them. In the next episode, we'll take everything we will learn about fire behavior and apply it to the alarm found in nearly every home. We'll explore why photoelectric alarms often trigger too late, why heat detectors respond slowly, and why nuisance alarms, false alarms from cooking or steam are so common. And most importantly, we'll examine why none of these devices collect the early stage data that could change how we respond to fire forever. Thank you for watching episode 1 of Firestar Insight. I'll see you in episode 2.